Hello everyone, and welcome back to the N Podcast English Hub. I'm David, and today we're talking about something that can quietly transform the way you use English every day. How to train your mind to work in English instead of constantly translating. A lot of learners spend years studying grammar, memorizing vocabulary, and watching English content. Yet they still feel stuck when it's time to speak. Why does that happen? Often, the issue is not knowledge, it's the habit of thinking in another language first. That extra step slows everything down. Today, I want to show you how to reduce that gap and build a more direct relationship with English. Let's start with a simple idea. Thinking in English is not about forcing your brain to become perfect. It's about making English feel familiar, useful, and present in ordinary moments. You don't need a special room, a long study session, or a magic method. You need repeated contact with English in daily life, plus a few smart habits that make your brain react faster. One of the most effective ways to begin is to create mini English moments during your day. For example, when you wake up, don't rush into your phone in silence. Instead, ask yourself a few questions in English. What do I need to do first? What kind of day do I want to have? What should I prepare before I leave? These are short, simple thoughts, but they help you connect English with real decisions. Over time, this becomes automatic. Another useful technique is to narrate your actions in your head. You don't need to speak out loud every second, but quietly describing what you're doing can make a big difference. If you're making tea, you might think, I'm boiling water. I'm taking out a mug. I want something warm before I start work. This practice is powerful because it links language to movement, routine, and memory. The more often you do it, the less you rely on translation. A lot of learners wait until they feel ready to speak in English, but confidence usually comes after action, not before it. So instead of waiting, try thinking in short, unfinished sentences. For instance, if you see rain outside, don't build a perfect paragraph in your head. Just think, it's raining again. I need an umbrella. Maybe the bus will be late. These fragments are enough. Real communication is often built from small pieces, not polished speeches. You can also train your brain by changing how you consume English content. When you watch a video or listen to a podcast, don't only focus on understanding every word. Pause sometimes and predict what the speaker might say next. Ask yourself, what would I say here? How would I answer this question? This tiny habit turns passive listening into active thinking. You start participating mentally instead of just receiving information. Another strong method is to use everyday comparisons. When you see something, compare it to something else in English. This coffee is stronger than yesterday's. This street is quieter than the main road. That meeting felt shorter than I expected. Comparisons are useful because they naturally force your brain to structure thoughts in English. They also make your speech more flexible and expressive. If you want to build stronger fluency, try thinking in categories rather than single words. For example, if you're planning dinner, don't only think of the word food. Think about ingredients, tools, timing, taste, and preference. What do I have? What do I need? What can I make quickly? This kind of thinking gives your brain more paths to English. It helps you move from isolated vocabulary to real-world language use. One habit that many learners underestimate is silent problem-solving in English. When something goes wrong, use English to think through the solution. If your laptop is slow, think, what's causing this? Have I opened too many tabs? Should I restart it? If you miss a train, think, what's my next option? can I take another route? This is excellent practice because language becomes connected to practical thinking, not just study exercises. Let's talk about memory too. If you want English to become more natural, repetition matters, but repetition works best when it is meaningful. Instead of memorizing random vocabulary lists, learn phrases that you can actually imagine using. For example, "I'm not sure yet, let me think about it. That makes sense," or "I didn't expect that." These expressions appear often in real life and give you ready-made building blocks for inner speech. Another helpful approach is to create a personal English soundtrack in your head. That means collecting a few simple expressions you can reuse in many situations. You might think, "First things first, one step at a time, that's a good point," or "I'm almost done." These are not fancy phrases, but they are flexible and practical. They help your mind stay in English even when your vocabulary is still growing. Now, here's something important. Don't try to think in long, perfect sentences all the time. That creates pressure. Instead, focus on speed and clarity. The goal is not to sound like a textbook. The goal is to respond naturally. A short English thought, like "need water," "late again," or "good idea," is already progress. Small thoughts are the foundation of fluent speech. You can also practice by imagining future conversations. Before a meeting, a class, or a phone call, mentally rehearse possible lines. What might they ask me? How can I answer simply? What if I don't understand something? This is a great way to prepare your brain for real interaction. It reduces panic and gives you a chance to build responses before the pressure starts. Another powerful habit is to react to your environment in English. Look around and turn what you see into language. The light is too bright. The room feels quiet. There are too many people here. I need more time. This kind of observation helps your brain stop waiting for study time and start using English in the present moment. If you make mistakes while thinking, that is a good sign. It means you are using the language actively. Mistakes are not proof that you are bad at English. They are proof that your brain is practicing. In fact, a lot of progress comes from trying to express a thought, noticing the gap, and then adjusting. That process is how real fluency grows. So how can you make this a daily habit? Start small. Choose 1 or 2 moments in your day where you will think in English on purpose. Maybe it's while commuting, while making breakfast, or right before sleep. Keep it short. Keep it consistent. The key is not intensity. The key is repetition. A few minutes every day can do more than one long session once a week. You can also make this practice more personal by using topics that matter to you. Think in English about your work, your hobbies, your plans, your family, or your goals. When the subject is meaningful, your brain pays more attention. The language becomes part of your identity, not just a school subject. Let me leave you with one simple challenge. For the next 7 days, pick one routine activity and describe it in English in your head every time you do it. It could be brushing your teeth, checking your email, or walking to the store. Don't worry about perfection. Just stay with the habit. By the end of the week, you may notice that English starts appearing more naturally in your mind. Thinking in English is not a switch. It's a path. Some days it will feel easy, and some days it will feel slow. That's completely normal. But every time you choose English first, even for a moment, you are training your brain to move faster and more confidently. Thanks for listening to the N Podcast English Hub. This is David, and I hope today's episode gives you a practical way to make English feel more natural in your daily life. Keep going, stay patient, and remember, Fluency grows in small moments, repeated often.